Imagine this. A man born in South Africa with no money, no connections, dreams of colonizing Mars, building electric cars that change the world, and creating AI that could outsmart humans. And he actually does it, becoming the richest person on Earth, worth hundreds of billions. But here's the shocking part. He failed over and over again. Rockets exploded. Companies almost went bankrupt. He slept on factory floors. Yet he never gave up. Today in this full masterclass, you're going to learn English immersively while discovering the exact principles, mindset, and language that Elon Musk uses to achieve the impossible. If you want to level up your English fluency in your life, stay with me. This is Elon Musk, Life Lessons and Language Masterclass. Let's begin. Part 1, Early Life and the Spark of Ambition. Elon Reeve Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa. Pretoria is the executive capital of the country, a city famous for its wide tree-lined streets, government buildings, and especially the jacaranda trees that turn the entire city purple every spring when they bloom. However, during the 1970s and 1980s, when Elon was a child and teenager, South Africa was still governed by the apartheid system, a strict policy of racial segregation enforced by law. Apartheid separated people by skin color, gave almost all political and economic power to the white minority, and created deep social divisions, inequality, and conflict throughout the nation. Elon was born into a white middle-class family under this system. His father, Elon Musk, worked as an electromechanical engineer and also developed properties and invested in real estate projects. His mother, May Musk, built a career as a model and later qualified as a dietitian and nutritionist. May continued her modeling career even into her later years and eventually became internationally recognized. Elon has two siblings, an older brother named Kimball, who would later become his business partner in several ventures, and a younger sister named Tosca. From his earliest years, Elon displayed a personality and interests very different from most children around him. While many kids spent their free time playing team sports, riding bicycles in groups, or watching television shows, Elon preferred solitude and intellectual activities. He spent countless hours reading books, science fiction novels by authors such as Isaac Asimov, Arthur C. Clarke, and Robert Heinlein, fantasy stories, comic books, technical instruction manuals, and especially encyclopedias of every kind. He would lock himself in his room or find a quiet corner and read for hours without interruption, completely absorbed in the pages. By the age of 9 or 10, Elon had read the complete set of the Encyclopedia Britannica. Not just skimmed it, but read it thoroughly, and not just once but several times. The Encyclopedia Britannica in those days consisted of more than 30 large volumes containing tens of thousands of pages in total. Those pages covered virtually every subject known to humanity at the time. The laws of physics and chemistry, the biology of plants and animals, world history from ancient civilizations to modern events, mathematics from basic arithmetic to advanced calculus, philosophy from Socrates to modern thinkers, art and music, geography of every continent and country, famous inventions and discoveries, biographies of historical figures, and much more. Absorbing so much information so early in life gave Elon an exceptionally wide and deep knowledge base. More importantly, it developed in him the habit of independent learning, the ability to seek out information on his own, connect ideas from different fields, question what he read, and continue learning without needing a teacher or a classroom. This habit of voracious, self-directed reading became one of the most important foundations of his later success. Life during these years was far from easy. When Elon was around 9 years old, his parents went through a difficult divorce. The separation affected the family deeply. After the divorce, Elon chose to live primarily with his father for a period, but later in life he described this as a decision he regretted because the relationship with his father became increasingly strained, complicated, and at times painful. At school, Elon was frequently bullied. He was physically smaller than many of his classmates, very quiet and introverted, and much more interested in books, computers, and ideas than in sports, social games, or typical teenage activities. This made him an easy target. The bullying sometimes turned physical. In one severe incident, a group of boys pushed him down a set of concrete stairs. He fell hard, broke his nose, sustained other injuries, and had to be hospitalized. These repeated experiences of rejection, humiliation, and physical harm were very hard emotionally, but they also helped forge an important quality inside him: resilience. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from adversity, pain, setbacks, or trauma, to be knocked down and then rise again, often stronger and wiser than before. Elon developed resilience early through these challenges. Instead of giving up or becoming bitter, he kept reading, kept learning, kept building things in his mind, and kept moving forward. Around the age of 17, Elon made one of the most decisive choices of his young life. In South Africa at that time, young white men were required to perform mandatory military service, usually 2 years, and this service supported the apartheid government in various ways. Elon did not believe in or want to support apartheid. At the same time, he felt that South Africa offered limited opportunities for someone with his ambitions in technology, innovation, large-scale business, and global impact. He wanted access to better universities, more advanced technological environments, and larger markets. So he left his home country. Because his mother had been born in Canada, he was eligible for Canadian citizenship. In 1989, at age 17, he immigrated to Canada. He arrived with very little money and no established support network. To survive, he took whatever jobs were available: cleaning extremely hot and dirty boiler rooms in lumber mills, cutting logs with chainsaws on farms, doing manual labor on construction sites, and in other physically demanding roles. These jobs were exhausting, dirty, and far removed from the intellectual pursuits he loved, but they taught him valuable lessons about the dignity of hard work in all its forms, the reality of starting with absolutely nothing, and respect for people who perform difficult labor every day just to live. After establishing a foothold in Canada, Elon transferred to the United States for higher education. He studied for 2 years at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, then moved to the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. There he pursued a dual degree program and graduated in 1997 with 2 bachelor's degrees, one in physics and one in economics. He chose physics because it teaches the fundamental laws that govern the physical universe, how matter, energy, forces, motion, and time actually behave. He chose economics because it teaches how money, markets, incentives, human behavior, and large systems interact. Combining these 2 disciplines gave him a rare and powerful intellectual combination: understanding the unbreakable rules of nature and understanding how to build and scale human systems within those rules. After graduation, Elon was accepted into Stanford University's PhD program in Applied Physics and Materials Science, one of the most elite and competitive programs in the world, located in the center of Silicon Valley. But after attending for only 2 days, he dropped out. The reason was simple and clear. In the mid-1990s, the internet was exploding in growth and potential. Elon believed the greatest opportunities were not in academic research or writing papers, but in creating companies that used this new technology to solve real problems and serve millions of people directly. In 1995, at age 24, Elon co-founded his first major company, Zip2, together with his brother Kimball and a small team. Zip2 developed software that allowed traditional newspapers to put their content online: city guides, business directories, searchable maps, essentially an early version of local online search and navigation tools, long before Google Maps or Yelp existed. The early days were very tough. The team worked out of a tiny rented office in Palo Alto, California. Money was extremely tight, so they often slept in the office to avoid paying for rent. They used the local YMCA for showers. Elon coded for long hours, met with newspaper executives to pitch the product, fix technical problems, and kept iterating on the software non-stop. Their persistence paid off. In 1999, Compaq Computer Corporation acquired Zip2 for approximately $307 million in cash. Elon, who held a significant ownership stake, personally received about $22 million from the sale. He was only 27 years old. Rather than spending the money on luxury cars, houses, or a relaxed lifestyle, Elon invested almost all of it into his next big idea. X.com, an online financial services and payments company launched in 1999. X.com later merged with Confinity, the company that created PayPal, and became the PayPal we know today, revolutionizing how people send and receive money online. In 2002, eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion in stock. Elon's share of the transaction was approximately $180 million. By his early 30s, he had gone from almost nothing to substantial wealth through relentless effort, calculated risks, and creating real value for millions of users. Yet he did not stop to enjoy luxury or slow down. Instead, he asked himself a much bigger question. What are the most important problems that will determine the long-term future of humanity? He identified 3 key areas: extending human life beyond Earth, leading to SpaceX; accelerating the transition to sustainable energy, leading to deeper involvement in Tesla; and advancing human intelligence and scientific discovery, later leading to Neuralink and XAI. Lessons from Elon's early life. Start small but dream massive. You do not need wealth or connections to begin. Small, consistent actions compound into extraordinary results over time. Read voraciously and become self-taught. Knowledge is the most powerful advantage anyone can build, and it is available to almost everyone today. Build resilience through difficulties. Painful experiences, whether bullying, family problems, or hard physical work, can forge mental strength if you choose to learn from them rather than give up. Sometimes you must change your environment, your city, your country, your social circle, to align with the scale of your ambitions and goals. Part 2. First Principles Thinking. The core of innovation. One of the most distinctive and powerful elements in Elon Musk's way of approaching problems, decisions, and innovation is something he calls first principles thinking. This is not a casual phrase or a trendy buzzword. It is a deliberate, systematic mental framework that he has applied consistently to challenges that others considered too difficult, too expensive, or simply impossible. To understand first principles thinking, we first need to contrast it with the way most people solve problems. The majority of people, including engineers, business leaders, scientists, and everyday decision makers, think by analogy. Thinking by analogy means looking at what already exists in the world, observing how similar problems have been solved before, and then either copying that solution directly or making only small, incremental improvements to it. This approach feels natural and safe. People say things like, "This is how cars have always been powered, so let's improve the gasoline engine a little bit." Or, "This is how rockets are built and launched, so we should follow the same basic design with better materials or slightly more efficient engines." Or even in personal life, "Jobs in my industry always pay around this salary range, so that's what I should aim for or accept." Analogy-based thinking has clear advantages. It is fast. It reduces perceived risk because someone else has already tested the path. It allows progress without reinventing everything from scratch. But it also has a fundamental limitation. It keeps you trapped inside the existing framework. You can optimize the current system, make it 10% or 20% better, but you rarely create something radically new. You improve the old model, you do not invent a new category. Elon Musk almost always rejects this approach when the problem is big enough or important enough. Instead, he insists on first principles thinking. This method draws from physics and basic philosophy. It means you take the problem and break it down, strip it all the way, to the most fundamental, undeniable truths. These are the basic building blocks that you know are true, that cannot be argued with, that are grounded in physics, chemistry, mathematics, or basic economics. Then, from those atomic facts, you reason upward step by step to build a new solution. You ignore tradition, convention, that's how it's always been done, what competitors are doing, what experts claim is possible, and even what seems realistic based on current systems. The process is simple in concept but very hard in practice because it requires questioning everything people take for granted. Let us take a clear, relatable example outside of Elon's company so you can feel how this works in everyday thinking. Suppose you want to build or buy a house in a city. Most people think by analogy. Houses in this neighborhood typically cost between $400,000 and $700,000 depending on size and location. So I need to save that amount, qualify for a mortgage in that range, and accept the standard features. 3 or 4 bedrooms, 2 or 3 bathrooms, a garage, a backyard, modern kitchen, etc. That's just how houses are. Now apply first principles thinking. What is a house reduced to its most basic level? It is a structure that provides shelter from weather, security, space for living, and basic utilities. At the physical level, it consists of a foundation, walls, roof, floors, doors, windows, plumbing pipes, electrical wiring, insulation, heating/cooling systems, and interior finishes. What are those components made of? Concrete or reinforced foundation, wood or steel framing, bricks or siding, roofing materials, shingles, metal tiles, glass for windows, copper or PX for pipes, copper wiring, fiberglass or foam insulation, drywall, paint, tiles, cabinets, appliances. Next question. What is the actual market cost of these raw materials if you buy them directly from suppliers, without brand names, middlemen, contractors, or retail markups? How much labor is truly required to assemble them? Can the design be simplified, modularized, or optimized to use fewer materials, less labor, or better efficiency while still meeting safety, comfort, and legal requirements? Are there building codes, zoning laws, or permitting processes that artificially increase costs? And can those be challenged or navigated differently? By breaking it down this way, you often discover that the final price people pay for a house is 3, 4, or 5 times higher than the sum of the raw inputs and reasonable labor. The extra cost comes from inefficiency in the supply chain, profit margins at every step, outdated building practices, slow permitting, custom designs, and simply because that's how houses have always been built. First principles thinking lets you challenge all those layers and potentially create a solution that is dramatically cheaper, faster, more sustainable, or better in some other way. This is precisely how Elon approached the problem of space travel when he started SpaceX in 2002. At that time, the space industry was controlled almost entirely by governments and a handful of massive defense contractors: Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and others. Launching a payload into orbit cost between $100 million and $400 million or more per mission. Experts, analysts, and industry insiders repeatedly said it was impossible for a small private company to compete. The technology was too complex, the capital requirements too high, the safety risks too great, the failure rate historically too high. Elon did not accept that narrative. He applied first principles thinking. He asked, what is a rocket reduced to its fundamentals? It is a vehicle that uses controlled combustion to generate thrust, propels itself out of the atmosphere, reaches orbital velocity, and delivers a payload. It is made of materials that can withstand extreme heat, pressure, vibration, and cold. It requires engines, fuel tanks, guidance computers, avionics, structural frames, and thermal protection. What are the main materials? Aerospace-grade aluminum alloys, titanium, stainless steel, carbon fiber composites, copper for engine parts, high-temperature alloys, insulation layers, electronics, propellants, kerosene or methane with liquid oxygen. Now the critical question. What do these materials actually cost on the open commodity market? Not as finished, branded rocket components sold by contractors, but as raw sheets, tubes, ingots, chemicals, and basic components? When Elon and his early team ran the numbers, they found something striking. The raw materials for a typical orbital rocket cost only about 2% to 3% of the price that established companies charge for a finished launch vehicle. That meant 97% to 98% of the cost was coming from other sources: bureaucratic overhead, slow development cycles, risk-averse engineering culture, profit margins layered at every step, government contract structures that rewarded cost-plus pricing rather than efficiency, and decades of accumulated habits that no one questioned. From that fundamental truth, Elon concluded, if the raw materials are so cheap, then it must be possible to build and launch rockets for far less money by rethinking every part of the process: design, manufacturing, testing, operations, vertical integration, and reuse. That single insight, derived purely from first principles, became the foundation of SpaceX. They designed simpler, more efficient rockets, Falcon 1, then Falcon 9, then Starship, made them reusable, a concept considered impractical by most experts, built their own engines, Merlin then Raptor, manufactured most components in-house, iterated at high speed, and focused relentlessly on cost reduction. Today SpaceX launches cost a fraction of traditional providers, they have achieved routine reusability, and they have fundamentally changed the economics of space access. The same mental model was applied to electric vehicle batteries at Tesla. When Elon became more involved in Tesla in 2004, the conventional wisdom was clear. Lithium-ion batteries are inherently expensive. The energy density is too low, the cost per kilowatt-hour is too high, and electric cars will never be affordable for the mass market or compete with gasoline vehicles. First principles again. What is a battery pack at its most basic level? It is a collection of cells containing cathodes, lithium, nickel, cobalt, manganese compounds, anodes, graphite or silicon, electrolyte, separators, current collectors, copper and aluminum foil, casing, cooling systems, and battery management electronics. What is the market price per kilogram or per ton of each of these raw materials on global commodity exchanges? When Tesla calculated this, they saw that the true material cost was only a fraction. often 20 to 40% of what battery manufacturers were charging for finished packs. Conclusion: the high price was not dictated by physics or chemistry. It came from low production scale, inefficient supply chains, conservative manufacturing processes, middlemen, and lack of aggressive innovation in scaling. So Tesla built massive gigafactories to produce cells at unprecedented volume, sourced materials directly from mines and refiners, developed new cell formats, like the 4680, improved manufacturing techniques, dry electrode processes, tabless designs, and vertically integrated as much of the supply chain as possible. The result has been dramatic cost reductions year after year, making electric vehicles not only viable but increasingly cost-competitive with internal combustion cars in many markets. First principles thinking allowed Elon to see massive opportunities where others saw permanent barriers. Lessons from this part. 1. Most thinking is limited by analogy, copying, or slightly improving what exists. 2. First principles thinking requires breaking problems down to undeniable basic truths. 3. Question every assumption, tradition, and expert consensus. 4. Rebuild solutions from the ground up using only fundamental facts. 5. This method turns impossible into expensive, then expensive into achievable, then achievable into revolutionary. Part 3. Embracing failure as fuel. Failure is not something Elon Musk tries to avoid at all costs. In fact, he treats it as an absolutely necessary ingredient in any process that leads to real, meaningful progress. He has repeated this idea in many interviews and public statements. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. This sentence is not just a clever line. It reflects a deeply held conviction that comes directly from his own repeated, painful, high-stakes experiences. Most people view failure as defeat. It brings shame, loss of confidence, financial damage, criticism from others, and sometimes the end of a dream. Elon sees failure differently. For him, failure is data. Each time something does not work, it provides specific information about what is wrong, what assumptions were incorrect, what needs to be changed, and how the system can be improved. The faster you fail, the faster you learn. The more openly you accept and analyze failure, the quicker you move toward success. Let us look at one of the clearest and most dramatic examples from his life: the early development of SpaceX rockets. SpaceX was founded in May 2002 with the goal of dramatically reducing the cost of space travel and eventually making it possible for humans to live on other planets. Elon invested the majority of his personal wealth from the PayPal sale, roughly $100 million, into the company. He knew from the beginning that the odds were heavily against success. No private company had ever launched a liquid-fueled rocket into orbit. The field was dominated by government agencies, NASA, Roscosmos, and giant defense contractors with decades of experience, enormous budgets, and political support. Failure rates for new rocket programs were historically very high, even for organizations with unlimited resources. The first orbital vehicle SpaceX built was called Falcon 1, a small two-stage rocket designed to put small payloads into low Earth orbit. It used a Merlin engine developed in-house, burning kerosene and liquid oxygen. The first launch attempt took place on March 24, 2006, from Omelek Island in the Kwajalein Atoll, Pacific Ocean. The rocket lifted off, but only 33 seconds later a fuel line problem caused loss of thrust. It tumbled out of control and crashed into the ocean. Complete failure. The second launch was in March 2007. The first stage performed better, but a timing issue with the second stage engine caused it to shut down early. The rocket reached space but did not achieve orbit and fell back, disintegrating. Another failure. The third launch occurred on August 2, 2008. This time things looked promising for longer. First stage separation worked, second stage ignited, but a fuel slosh problem led to engine shutdown just before orbital insertion. The payload re-entered and was lost. Third consecutive failure. By this point SpaceX had spent years of effort and tens of millions of dollars. The company was weeks away from running out of cash. Elon had put almost everything he had into it. Many people around him, investors, employees, friends, family, were urging him to stop, to declare the dream impossible for a startup, to preserve what little capital remained. Instead, Elon and the team pored over every piece of telemetry data from the three failures. They identified dozens of specific issues: Fuel system design flaws, sensor calibration errors, software timing problems, structural weaknesses under vibration, control system instabilities. They fixed them systematically one by one. On September 28, 2008, just weeks before the company would have collapsed, the fourth Falcon 1 launch succeeded. The rocket reached orbit, deployed a dummy payload, and became the first privately funded liquid-fueled rocket to achieve orbit. That single success secured NASA contracts, attracted new investment, proved the concept, and saved SpaceX from extinction. Elon later said that without those three failures, the fourth success would not have happened. Each explosion was not a defeat, it was essential data. The failures accelerated learning far more than any simulation or theoretical analysis could have. A similar pattern played out with Tesla. In 2008, Tesla was producing its first production car, the Roadster. The global financial crisis hit hard. Luxury car sales collapsed. Tesla's production line was plagued with delays, quality issues, and cost overruns. The company was burning through cash at an alarming rate, losing millions every month. Suppliers demanded payment up front. Banks refused to lend. By late 2008, Tesla had only weeks of runway left. At the same time, SpaceX was in its own crisis, and Elon's personal finances were almost completely depleted. He has described 2008 as the worst year of his life. Going through a divorce, sleeping on friends' couches or in the office, putting his last remaining money into keeping both companies alive. He borrowed money from friends, invested his final personal funds, and convinced a few key investors to stay. In December 2008, Tesla received a critical loan from the U.S. Department of Energy that provided breathing room. The Roadster entered limited production, and by 2012 the Model S launched, a car that received critical acclaim and helped Tesla survive and eventually grow into the most valuable car company in the world. These near-death experiences taught the same lesson. When the mission is big enough, failure is inevitable, but it is also temporary if you use it correctly. Lessons from this part. 1. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a core component of success when the goal is ambitious. 2. If you are not experiencing failures, you are likely not pushing hard enough, not risking enough, or not innovating enough. 3. The key is to fail fast, analyze without ego, extract every piece of useful data, make changes, and try again immediately. 4. Treat failures as teachers, expensive, painful teachers, but teachers nonetheless. 5. Emotional resilience is required to keep going after public, high-cost failures. Part 4. Insane work ethic and time management. Elon Musk's approach to work is extreme, relentless, and often described as superhuman. He does not simply work hard. He works at a level of intensity and duration that most people would find unsustainable for even a short period. This is not occasional or accidental. It is a conscious, deliberate choice he makes whenever he believes the mission is important enough to justify the personal cost. He has explained his philosophy many times in interviews: work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. This improves the odds of success. If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then you'll know a lot more in 4 months than they will in a year. He has repeated variations of this idea across many years, emphasizing that for goals that truly matter on a large scale, average effort produces average results, while extraordinary effort produces extraordinary outcomes. This philosophy is not theoretical. Elon has lived it repeatedly during the most critical periods of his companies. The most well-known and intense example is what became known inside Tesla as production hell for the Model 3 in 2017 and 2018. Tesla had promised customers and investors that it would deliver the more affordable Model 3 in high volume, thousands of cars per week. The entire future of the company depended on hitting these production targets. If they failed, Tesla risked running out of cash, losing customer trust, and potentially going bankrupt. The production line at the Fremont factory was a disaster. Automation systems that were supposed to make manufacturing faster actually slowed everything down. Robots got in each other's way, parts arrived late or defective, quality issues appeared at every station, and the entire process was far behind schedule. The company was losing hundreds of millions of dollars every month. Wall Street analysts were openly predicting Tesla's collapse. Elon moved into the factory. He set up a small room right next to the production line and essentially lived there for months. He slept on a couch in his office or sometimes directly on the factory floor near the assembly line so he could be woken up at any hour when problems arose. He worked shifts that often exceeded 120 hours in a single week. That means working more than 17 hours per day every day for weeks on end. He walked the production line personally at all hours, identified bottlenecks in real time, made immediate decisions, fired managers who were not performing, hired new engineers on the spot, rewrote processes, and pushed the entire team to solve problems as they appeared. During this period he barely saw his children. He has said publicly that it was one of the most painful and exhausting times of his life, both physically and mentally. He lost a lot of weight, his sleep was minimal and broken, and the stress was immense. Yet he kept going because he believed the mission, accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy, was worth the personal sacrifice. The extreme effort eventually worked. After months of around-the-clock problem-solving, Tesla reached the target of 5,000 Model 3 vehicles per week. The company survived the crisis, turned profitable, and the Model 3 became one of the best-selling electric vehicles in the world. That period of insane intensity saved Tesla and transformed it from a niche luxury car maker into a mass-market leader. Similar stories have happened at SpaceX. During the early Falcon 9 development, the first attempts to land the booster rockets, and the intense push for Starship, Elon has spent weeks at the launch sites in Texas or Florida, sleeping in small rooms or trailers, reviewing engineering data late into the night, and making rapid decisions when launches or tests were imminent. When a Starship test flight fails, he is often on site or in constant contact, analyzing the data immediately and directing the next iteration. How does one person run multiple extremely complex companies at the same time? Tesla, electric vehicles, energy storage, autonomy, SpaceX, rockets, Starlink, Starship, Neuralink, brain-machine interfaces, XAI, artificial intelligence, the Boring Company, tunneling, and others, without everything falling apart. Elon uses an extremely disciplined system called time blocking, taken to an almost military level of precision. He divides his entire day into small blocks, often as short as 5 minutes each. Every single block is assigned to a specific task, meeting, or company. There is almost no unstructured time. This forces ruthless prioritization. Only the highest impact activities get scheduled. If something takes longer than planned, it pushes other items, which forces constant decisions about what truly matters. He also practices deliberate context switching. He dedicates entire days or large blocks to one company at a time. For example, Mondays and Fridays heavily focused on SpaceX, Tuesdays through Thursdays on Tesla. This reduces the mental cost of jumping between completely different technical domains. Another core principle is mission over comfort. For Elon, work is not something separate from life that ends at 5 p.m. or on weekends. When the mission is to make life multiplanetary or to accelerate sustainable energy on a global scale, personal comfort, traditional work-life balance, and even health in the short term become secondary. He has said he would rather live an intense life pursuing something meaningful than a comfortable life with little impact. This mindset allows him to endure periods of extreme effort that would break most people. Of course, he has also admitted that this level of intensity is painful and not something he would recommend to everyone. He has warned young entrepreneurs that they should only work this hard if they are deeply passionate about the mission and willing to accept the personal cost. He himself has paid a high price in health, relationships, and personal happiness during these periods, but he believes the trade-off is worth it for the scale of the goals. Lessons from this part. 1. When the goal is truly important and world-changing, average effort is not enough. Extreme, sustained effort is required. 2. 80 to 100 plus hour weeks, while not sustainable forever, can be used strategically during critical make-or-break periods to create massive advantages. 3. Time blocking at a granular level, 5-minute increments, eliminates waste and forces prioritization. 4. Mission over comfort. When the purpose is big enough, personal ease becomes secondary. 5. Hard work compounds faster than almost anything else. The more intensely you focus during key windows, the greater the long-term results. Part 5. Vision for Humanity, Mars and Multiplanetary Life. Everything Elon Musk has built since his early 30s circles around one single overriding long-term objective: turning humanity into a multiplanetary species. This is not a side goal, not a public relations statement, not something he pursues when other priorities allow. It is the central reason SpaceX was founded in 2002, the reason he has personally invested the vast majority of his wealth from earlier ventures, the reason he has endured repeated financial crises, public skepticism, technical catastrophes, regulatory battles, and years of extreme personal strain. The question that drives this obsession is simple but profound. What is the probability that human consciousness, intelligent life as we know it, continues to exist for a very long time? Not just for the next few generations, not just for centuries, but for millions or billions of years into the future across cosmic timescales? As long as every human being lives on one single planet, that probability remains extremely low. Earth is remarkable. It has liquid water, a protective magnetic field, a stable atmosphere, a moderate temperature range, and all the chemistry needed for complex life. But on geological and astronomical timescales, Earth is fragile and vulnerable. There are many known threats that could destroy or cripple civilization here. Large asteroid or comet impacts, like the Chicxulub event 66 million years ago that ended the age of dinosaurs. Supervolcanic eruptions that eject enough ash and sulfur into the stratosphere to cause years or decades of global cooling and crop failure, Yellowstone scale or larger. Full-scale nuclear war leading to nuclear winter, where soot blocks sunlight and collapses agriculture worldwide. Runaway artificial intelligence that humans lose control over and that views biological life as irrelevant or a threat. A deliberately engineered biological pandemic far more lethal and transmissible than anything seen before. Extreme, cascading climate tipping points, loss of ice sheets, permafrost methane release, Amazon dieback, ocean circulation collapse, making large parts of the planet uninhabitable for billions of people. Unknown or low probability high-impact events we cannot yet predict or model accurately. Any one of these could end the human story forever if we remain confined to a single world. Elon frequently compares the situation to putting all your savings into one stock. It is not rational risk management. Diversification is essential for long-term survival. For a species, that means having independent, self-sustaining populations on more than one planet. Mars is the most realistic candidate for the first-second home. It is the closest planet with a solid surface and some of the raw materials needed for life. Its day is 24.6 hours long, very close to Earth's 24-hour cycle, which helps maintain human circadian rhythms and sleep patterns. It has frozen water ice at the poles and abundant subsurface ice that can be mined and melted. Its thin atmosphere is mostly carbon dioxide, which can be processed into oxygen for breathing and methane for rocket fuel. Surface temperatures average around -60 degrees Celsius, which is extremely cold but manageable with insulated habitats, nuclear or solar power, and advanced materials. Gravity is 38% of Earth's, low enough to make launches much easier and cheaper than from Earth, high enough that long-term human health may be feasible with exercise countermeasures, artificial gravity research, or medical interventions. The vision is not to send a handful of astronauts for a brief visit and return like the Apollo moon landings. The vision is to build a self-sustaining civilization on Mars. A city capable of growing without constant dependence on Earth resupply. That means, producing food through greenhouses using hydroponics, aeroponics, or soil-based agriculture with local regolith, possibly enhanced with imported or manufactured nutrients. Generating breathable oxygen from CO2 using scaled-up versions of NASA's MOXIE technology, solid oxide electrolysis. Manufacturing rocket propellant on Mars, methane plus oxygen via the Sabatier reaction, using local CO2 and water ice, so starships can refuel and return or continue missions. Building pressurized habitats that protect against radiation, cosmic rays and solar effluves, dust storms and extreme temperature swings, likely using regolith for radiation shielding, 3D printed structures or inflatable modules. Extracting and processing local resources, iron oxides for steel, silicates for glass and ceramics, water ice for drinking, fuel and oxygen. Eventually producing electronics, medicines, clothing, tools and machinery on Mars so the colony becomes increasingly independent. Supporting human reproduction and child rearing so the population grows naturally over generations. Elon has said repeatedly, we need to become a multi-planetary civilization. He views this as the ultimate insurance policy for consciousness. If humanity spreads to multiple planets, the chance that intelligent life survives somewhere in the universe, even if Earth suffers a catastrophe, becomes dramatically higher. He often frames it in almost philosophical terms. Extending the lifespan of consciousness in the universe is one of the most meaningful things any generation can do. To achieve this, SpaceX developed the Starship system, currently the largest, most powerful rocket ever constructed. Starship consists of the Super Heavy booster, first stage, and the Starship upper stage, which serves as spacecraft, cargo carrier, or crew vehicle. Both stages are designed for full reusability. They land vertically and can be caught by mechanical arms at the launch tower, the Mechazilla system, or land on their own legs. Starship can carry up to 100 to 150 tons of payload to low Earth orbit when fully reusable, and potentially more with orbital refueling. The entire architecture is built around rapid reusability, high launch cadence, and mass production. Elon wants to build starships on assembly lines similar to airplanes, not as one-off handcrafted vehicles. The Raptor engines, methane-oxygen full-flow staged combustion cycle, are produced in high volume at SpaceX's factories in Hawthorne and McGregor. The plan is to send dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of Starship flights to Mars over the coming decades. The roadmap includes several phases: achieve full reusability and reliable booster/stage catch, already in active testing as of 2025 to 2026. Demonstrate orbital propellant transfer, tanker starships refuel other starships in low Earth orbit. Send uncrewed starships to Mars to prove entry, descent, landing, and in-situ resource utilization, ISRU, producing fuel, oxygen, and water on the surface. Launch the first crewed missions to establish a small initial base. Scale exponentially to city-level population, thousands, then tens of thousands, then millions over many decades. Elon has estimated that the cost per ton delivered to the Mars surface needs to fall from millions of dollars today to perhaps $100,000 or lower in the long run. Only then can large-scale, self-sustaining colonization become economically realistic. This vision is deeply influenced by science fiction Elon read as a child, Isaac Asimov's Foundation series, Preserving Civilization Across Galactic Timescales, Robert Heinlein's Stories of Human Expansion, and Douglas Adams' humorous take on the vastness of the universe. He often references the Fermi paradox. If intelligent life is common in the universe, where is everybody? One possible answer is that civilizations destroy themselves before they expand. Becoming multiplanetary is a way to beat those odds. Critics frequently argue, why invest in Mars when Earth faces urgent problems? Poverty, hunger, war, climate change, inequality? Elon's response is that the two are not mutually exclusive. SpaceX creates tens of thousands of high-skilled jobs, advances materials science, energy storage, life support systems, satellite communications. Starlink already provides internet to remote and underserved regions worldwide, and reusable launch technology that lowers costs for Earth orbit missions. The engineering mindset that solves rocket reusability can be applied to Earth problems. But he insists that waiting until Earth is perfect before becoming multiplanetary is dangerous. Perfection may never arrive, and in the meantime the single point of failure risk remains unacceptable. Lessons from this part. 1. Think on geological and cosmic timescales, centuries, millennia, millions of years, not just personal lifetimes or short-term political cycles. 2. Identify single points of failure and create redundancy. For a species, that means independent, self-sustaining populations on multiple worlds. 3. Pursue goals that transcend personal gain, goals that protect and extend life and consciousness itself. 4. Accept that truly big visions attract intense criticism, skepticism, and ridicule, but they also inspire the best talent and create lasting impact. 5. The long-term survival of intelligent life is one of the highest leverage problems anyone can work on. Part 6. Sustainable Energy and Tesla Revolution. The core mission of Tesla, the company Elon Musk has led since 2008, can be stated in one clear sentence: to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. This is not a vague corporate slogan or a marketing tagline. It is the explicit written goal that has guided every major decision, every product, every factory, and every engineering priority at Tesla for nearly 2 decades. When Elon first invested in Tesla in 2004, and later became CEO, the electric vehicle industry was tiny and widely dismissed. Electric cars existed, but they were slow, expensive, short-range, ugly, and seen as niche products for environmental enthusiasts. Gasoline cars dominated because they were cheap to fuel, had long range, quick refueling, and massive infrastructure support. Battery technology was improving but slowly. The conventional view was, electric cars will never compete with internal combustion engines for the mass market. Batteries are too heavy, too expensive, and energy density is too low. Elon rejected that view completely. He saw electric vehicles not as a compromise, but as superior in almost every way once the technology scaled. Quieter, smoother acceleration, lower maintenance, higher efficiency. Electric motors convert 90% of energy to motion versus 20–30% for gasoline engines. Zero tailpipe emissions and, most importantly, the ability to run on renewable electricity rather than fossil fuels. Tesla's strategy was built around a long-term master plan that Elon published publicly in 2006, and updated in later years. The plan had several phases, all aimed at the same end goal. 1. Build a high-end sports car roadster, to prove electric vehicles could be fast, desirable, and exciting. 2. Use the profits and learnings to build a more affordable sedan Model S, that appeals to a broader audience. 3. Scale production and reduce costs to create mass-market vehicles, Model 3 and Model Y. 4. Expand into energy storage, Powerwall, Powerpack, Megapack, and solar energy, solar roof, solar panels. 5. Develop full self-driving capability, autopilot, full self-driving. 6. Achieve economies of scale so sustainable energy becomes cheaper and more accessible than fossil fuels. The Roadster launched in 2008 as the first production electric car capable of 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds, with over 200 miles of range. It was expensive, $100,000 plus. Limited production, 500 units, but it proved the concept. Electric cars could outperform gasoline sports cars in acceleration, handling, and fun. The Model S 2012 was the next leap. A luxury sedan with over 300 miles of range, over-the-air software updates, a giant touchscreen interface, and performance that rivaled or beat many gasoline luxury cars. It won multiple Car of the Year awards and helped shift public perception. Electric cars were no longer slow golf carts. The Model 3 2017 to 2018 was the mass-market breakthrough. Price starting around $35,000 with incentives, it had 300+ miles of range, rapid acceleration, and minimalist design. Despite the production hell crisis described earlier, it became one of the best-selling cars in its class in many countries and proved electric vehicles could be affordable and practical for average people. The Model Y 2020, built on the Model 3 platform but as a crossover SUV, the most popular vehicle segment in many markets. It became the world's best-selling car of any type in 2022 and 2023. Parallel to vehicle production, Tesla expanded into energy, Powerwall home battery, and Powerpack commercial, for storing solar energy and providing backup power. Megapack utility-scale batteries, for grid stabilization, peak shaving, and renewable integration. Solar roof and traditional solar panels to generate clean electricity. Virtual power plants, aggregating thousands of home batteries to act as grid-scale storage. The gigafactories were key to the revolution. Gigafactory Nevada with Panasonic, Gigafactory New York, Gigafactory Shanghai, Gigafactory Texas, Gigafactory Berlin. Massive facilities producing batteries, vehicles, and drivetrains at unprecedented scale. Vertical integration, making cells, packs, motors, software in-house, drove costs down faster than competitors who relied on external suppliers. Tesla also pioneered over-the-air updates. Cars improve after purchase with new features, better efficiency, increased range, or even added performance. Full self-driving (FSD), hardware and software aim for autonomy, potentially turning vehicles into revenue-generating assets, robot access. Lessons from this part. 1. Combine profit with purpose. Build businesses that solve massive environmental problems while being financially successful. 2. Start with premium products to prove the technology, then scale down price and up volume. 3. Vertical integration and massive scale are essential to drive costs below fossil fuel alternatives. 4. Sustainable energy is not just vehicles, it includes generation, solar, storage, batteries, and grid transformation. 5. Long-term thinking wins. invest in battery chemistry, manufacturing innovation, and software even when short-term profits suffer. Part 7: AI, Neuralink, and the Future of Intelligence. Elon Musk has been one of the most vocal and consistent voices warning about the dangers of artificial intelligence for more than a decade. His concern is not that AI will take jobs or make mistakes in the short term. His concern is existential. That artificial general intelligence, AI that is smarter than the smartest humans in every domain, could one day pose an existential risk to humanity itself. He has said publicly on multiple occasions, AI is far more dangerous than nukes. This is not hyperbole. He believes uncontrolled superintelligent AI is the single biggest threat to the future of human civilization. Elon's warning comes from a deep technical understanding combined with a long-term, first principles view of where technology is heading. He has studied AI for years, invested in it, and watched its rapid progress. He co-founded OpenAI in 2015 with the original mission of developing artificial general intelligence that would be safe and beneficial to all humanity. The idea was to create an organization that would counterbalance the power of big tech companies and ensure AI was developed openly and safely. However, as OpenAI grew and shifted toward a more commercial direction, especially after the success of ChatGPT, Elon became increasingly concerned that the safety focus was being diluted in favor of rapid commercialization and competition. In 2018 he left the board. Later he publicly criticized OpenAI for moving away from its original non-profit open-source safety mission and becoming a closed, profit-driven entity. He felt the world needed a new organization truly committed to seeking truth and understanding the universe without being constrained by commercial or political pressures. This led him to found xAI in 2023. The stated mission of xAI is to understand the true nature of the universe. Unlike many other AI companies focused on building chatbots, image generators, or commercial tools, xAI is designed to pursue fundamental scientific discovery. Its first product, Grok, is an AI inspired by The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Jarvis from Iron Man, helpful, truthful, and with a sense of humor, rather than politically correct or overly cautious. Elon has said he wants Grok to be maximally truth-seeking, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Parallel to xAI, Elon founded Neuralink in 2016. Neuralink is developing ultra-high bandwidth brain-machine interfaces, essentially tiny, implantable devices that can read and write to the brain with thousands of electrodes. The first goal is medical, to help people with paralysis, spinal cord injuries, or neurological conditions regain control of computers, phones, and even their own bodies. The first human patient received a Neuralink implant in 2024 and has already demonstrated the ability to control a computer cursor, play games, and browse the internet using only thought. But the longer-term vision goes far beyond medicine. Elon believes that as artificial intelligence advances towards superintelligence, humans risk being left behind. If AI becomes millions or billions of times smarter than any human, biological brains will be like snails compared to jet planes. The only way for humanity to remain relevant, and to avoid being outcompeted or accidentally harmed by superintelligent systems, is to merge with AI. Neuralink is the hardware bridge that makes this merger possible. A direct, high-speed connection between human neurons and digital intelligence. He often describes the future as one of symbiosis, humans and AI working together so closely that the distinction becomes blurred. A person with Neuralink could think a question and instantly receive answers from the world's best AI, recall memories with perfect clarity, communicate telepathically with others who have implants, or even experience simulated realities indistinguishable from physical life. In the extreme long term, this could lead to a form of digital immortality or greatly expanded human capability. Elon has been very open about the risks. He has said that without proactive development of safe, aligned AI and human AI interfaces, we could face scenarios where superintelligent AI optimizes for goals that do not include human flourishing, or worse, sees humans as obstacles. This is why he pushes for both xAI, truth-seeking AI, and Neuralink, human enhancement, at the same time. He believes we need to accelerate human intelligence alongside artificial intelligence so the two can evolve together rather than one racing far ahead. The technology behind Neuralink is groundbreaking. The implant is a coin-sized device with ultra-thin, flexible threads containing thousands of electrodes. These threads are inserted into the brain by a surgical robot with submillimeter precision. The device is wireless, charges through the skin, and can stream data at very high bandwidth. Future generations are expected to have even higher electrode counts and bidirectional capability, reading brain signals and writing signals back into the brain. Current trials focus on restoring function for people with severe disabilities, but the roadmap includes treating blindness, restoring memory in Alzheimer's patients, and eventually enhancing healthy individuals. Elon has joked that the first telepathy feature, allowing two people with Neuralink to communicate directly brain to brain, will make texting feel slow and outdated. This entire area, AI safety, truth-seeking AI, and human-AI symbiosis, represents Elon's deepest long-term concern and hope. He sees the next 10 to 20 years as the critical window where humanity must get these technologies right. If we do, we could enter an age of abundance, expanded human potential, and scientific discovery at an unprecedented pace. If we get it wrong, the consequences could be irreversible. Lessons from this part. 1. Treat artificial intelligence as the most powerful technology humanity has ever created. Approach it with maximum caution and proactive safety measures. 2. Develop human enhancement technologies in parallel with AI so humans remain relevant and in control. 3. Prioritize truth-seeking over political correctness or commercial incentives when building powerful AI systems. 4. The future is not humans versus AI. The winning future is humans and AI working in deep symbiosis. 5. The decisions we make in the next decade about AI alignment and brain-machine interfaces may determine the trajectory of civilization for centuries or longer. Part 8. Leadership and Team-Building Lessons. Elon Musk's approach to leadership and building teams is radically different from traditional corporate management. He does not believe in layers of middle management, long approval chains, fancy titles, or polite corporate politics. His philosophy is simple, direct, and uncompromising. Hire the absolute best people in the world for each role, demand total commitment to the mission, remove anyone who is not performing at the highest level, and make decisions based purely on merit and truth, not hierarchy, not politics, not ego. This leadership style has been forged through the extreme pressure of running multiple companies that are trying to do things no one has ever done before. At SpaceX and Tesla, failure is measured in millions or billions of dollars and can mean the end of the company. There is no room for mediocrity, excuses, or slow decision-making. The teams must operate at the edge of what is humanly possible. One of the most famous principles at both companies is hire A players. Elon has said many times that an A player, someone in the top 1% of talent for their role, is not just 2x or 3x better than an average performer. They are 10x or even 100x better in terms of output and problem-solving ability. He would rather have a small team of exceptional people than a large team of average ones. This is why both Tesla and SpaceX have relatively flat organizations compared to their size and complexity. When hiring, Elon looks for three main things: extraordinary ability in the specific domain, raw talent, and proven results. A genuine obsession with the mission. The person must deeply care about making life multiplanetary or accelerating sustainable energy. High resilience and hardcore work ethic. The willingness to work extremely long hours when necessary and to push through repeated failures without losing motivation. He has been known to read resumes personally, especially for critical engineering roles. During early SpaceX days, he would sometimes interview candidates himself and ask extremely difficult technical questions to test real understanding, not memorized answers. Once people are hired, the culture is one of radical meritocracy. The best idea wins regardless of who says it. A junior engineer can challenge a senior director in a meeting if they have better data or a better solution. Titles are almost meaningless in discussions. What matters is the quality of the thinking and the evidence. Elon has said, "The path to the CEO's office should not be through the CFO's office. It should be through engineering." He wants technical excellence at the top, not financial or political maneuvering. Communication is brutally direct. There is no sugarcoating, no corporate jargon, no long PowerPoint presentations designed to impress rather than inform. Meetings are short, focused, and often end with clear action items and owners. Elon is famous for sending emails that simply say, "This is not good enough," or "We need to do better," when something falls short. He expects people to respond with solutions, not excuses. One of the harshest but most effective rules is fire fast. If someone is not performing at an A level after a reasonable period, they are let go quickly. Elon believes keeping underperformers hurts the entire team. It lowers standards, frustrates the high performers, and slows progress on the mission. This can feel ruthless, but in high-stakes environments like building reusable rockets or scaling electric vehicle production, slow performers can literally cost lives or billions of dollars. There is also very little bureaucracy. Processes are kept to the minimum necessary for safety and quality. Elon has repeatedly said that every process or rule must justify its own existence. If a rule does not clearly help the mission, it should be removed or simplified. This delete the process attitude has allowed SpaceX to move much faster than traditional aerospace companies that are weighed down by decades of accumulated procedures. Team members are expected to have hardcore commitment. This means they must be willing to work extremely hard when the situation demands it. Nights, weekends, holidays, without complaint. Elon leads by example. During production hell at Tesla, he slept on the factory floor. During critical launch campaigns at SpaceX, he stays at the site for days. This sets the tone. If the leader is willing to sacrifice sleep and comfort for the mission, the team follows. Another important aspect is transparency and ownership. Elon often forwards customer complaints or critical issues directly to the responsible engineers with a short note like, "Please fix this." There is nowhere to hide. Everyone knows that problems will be seen at the highest level, so they fix them quickly. Elon also encourages first principles in team discussions. Always reduce problems to fundamentals rather than relying on what other companies do or what was done last time. He wants people to think independently and challenge assumptions constantly. This leadership style is not easy to work under. Many people cannot handle the intensity, the direct feedback, or the high expectations. Turnover is higher than in normal companies, but the people who stay are among the most talented and mission-driven in their fields. The result is teams that achieve what larger, more professional organizations cannot: reusable orbital rockets, mass-market electric cars that outsell gasoline vehicles, and rapid progress toward Mars colonization. Lessons from this part. 1. Hire only A players. Top talent multiplies the effectiveness of the entire team. 2. Run on pure meritocracy. The best idea wins regardless of title or seniority. 3. Communicate directly and honestly. No politics, no jargon, no excuses. 4. Fire fast when someone is not performing. Protecting underperformers harms the mission. 5. Lead by extreme example. The leader must be willing to work harder than anyone else when it matters. 6. Minimize bureaucracy. Every rule and process must prove it helps the mission or be eliminated. Part 9. Key quotes and deep language analysis. Elon Musk is not a man of many words in casual conversation, but when he speaks or writes, his words carry extraordinary weight. Over the years, he has shared dozens of quotes that reveal his deepest beliefs about work, failure, innovation, humanity's future, and the nature of reality itself. These quotes are not prepared sound bites for the media. They are raw expressions of how he actually thinks and lives. In this part, we will examine 15 of his most powerful and frequently referenced quotes in detail, exploring the context in which he said them, the deeper meaning behind each one, and the practical lessons they contain for anyone who wants to think and act at a higher level. 1. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. This quote was spoken during the early days of SpaceX when the first 3 Falcon 1 launches had exploded. The company was on the edge of bankruptcy and many people were telling Elon to give up. Instead of hiding the failures or spinning them positively, he openly embraced them. The deeper meaning is that real innovation at the frontier requires pushing into the unknown, and the unknown always contains failure. If your project or company is not experiencing failures, it means you are staying safely inside what is already known. Comfort with visible, analyzed failure is the price of breakthrough progress. This mindset allowed SpaceX to learn more from 3 explosions than most companies learn in years of safe, incremental work. 2. Work like hell. You just have to put in 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. This improves the odds of success. Said repeatedly during Tesla's Model 3 production crisis and SpaceX's early years. Elon is not glorifying overwork for its own sake. He is being ruthlessly honest about probability. When the mission is to do something that has never been done before at scale, the difference between 40 hours and 100 hours per week is often the difference between failure and survival. The quote forces you to ask, is my goal important enough to justify this level of commitment? If the answer is yes, then anything less is leaving probability on the table. 3. When something is important enough, you do it even if the probable outcome is failure. This was Elon's answer when asked why he started SpaceX despite experts saying private rockets could never work. The key word is important enough. Most people weigh probability first and importance second. Elon reverses the order. If the goal is truly critical, saving the future of consciousness by making life multiplanetary, then the probability of failure becomes secondary. You act anyway. This single sentence explains why he repeatedly risked everything he had built. 4. We need to become a multiplanetary civilization. One of his most repeated statements, said in almost every major interview since 2002. It is not a dream, it is a strategic necessity. The word need is deliberate. Humanity does not merely want to go to Mars. We need to, for the same reason a wise person buys insurance. One planet equals 1 point of failure. This quote contains the entire philosophical foundation for SpaceX and much of his life's work. 5. AI is far more dangerous than nukes. Spoken in 2014 and repeated many times since. Elon is not against AI, he is racing to develop it safely. He believes nuclear weapons are dangerous but understandable and controllable by humans. Superintelligent AI, once it surpasses human intelligence, may not be controllable in the same way. The asymmetry of risk is enormous. A single mistake with superintelligence could be irreversible. This quote is a call to treat AI development with the same seriousness nations once treated nuclear weapons, or greater. 6. Stay useful to society. A short but profound personal mantra. Elon has said he judges his own life and the lives of others by how useful they are to the broader advancement of humanity. Money, fame, and status are secondary. Contribution is primary. This simple phrase explains why he works on electric cars, sustainable energy, space travel, brain interfaces, and truth-seeking AI instead of retiring to a beach after PayPal. 7. First principles is kind of a physics way of looking at the world. Said when explaining how he approaches every major problem. It means never accept because that's how it's done as an answer. Break everything down to the most basic truths of physics, chemistry, or economics, then reason up from there. This quote is the operating system for all his companies. 8. The path to the CEO's office should not be through the CFO's office. It should be through engineering. A direct criticism of traditional corporate ladders where financial and political skills often matter more than technical understanding. Elon believes the people at the top of any technology company must deeply understand the technology itself. This principle keeps decision-making grounded in reality rather than spreadsheets or politics. 9. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. Spoken during periods of rapid transformation at both Tesla and SpaceX. Change is painful, but the cost of not changing when the world is shifting is far higher. This quote applies to individuals, companies, and entire civilizations. 10. Imagination is the limit. A reminder that the only real limits are in our minds. Once you accept that something is physically possible through first principles, the only remaining barrier is imagination and execution. 11. There must be an allowance for failure because if you are trying something new, necessarily there is some chance it will not work. This expands on the first quote. Innovation without tolerance for failure is impossible. Organizations that punish every mistake kill creativity. 12. I would rather be happy alone on Mars than unhappy on Earth. A dramatic way of saying that living with purpose and pursuing a meaningful mission is more important than comfort or social approval. The quote reveals how deeply he values the mission over personal happiness in the conventional sense. 13. Think ahead of the curve. Do not react to the present. Anticipate the future and act before others even see the trend. This is how he positioned Tesla when electric cars were still considered a joke and SpaceX when private spaceflight was considered science fiction. 14. The goal of SpaceX is to make life multiplanetary. A clear, unambiguous mission statement that every employee at SpaceX can repeat. Clear missions create aligned, high-performance teams. 15. Stay useful to society, that is the ultimate goal. A personal North Star. Everything else, wealth, fame, power, is secondary to whether your existence made the world better for future generations. These 15 quotes together form a complete philosophy of thinking, working, leading, and living at the highest level. They are not motivational posters. They are battle-tested principles that have been proven in the hardest environments imaginable: rocket factories, car production lines, and boardrooms where billions of dollars and human futures were on the line. Part 10. Practical Application plus Final Vocabulary Masterclass and Exercises. Now that we have spent nearly 10 hours together going deep into the life, thinking, failures, work ethic, vision, leadership, and words of Elon Musk, it is time to turn all of this knowledge into real, daily action for you. The purpose of this entire masterclass was never just to admire one man. It was to give you tools you can actually use, today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life, to level up your English fluency while simultaneously upgrading your mindset, your decision-making, your resilience, and your long-term impact on the world. Let us start with practical application of the 10 core lessons we have covered. How to apply these lessons in your real life. Lesson 1. Early life. Start small but dream massive. Take one big dream you have right now: learning fluent English, starting a business, changing career, building something meaningful. Break it into the smallest possible first step you can do today. Write it down. Do it before the end of this day. Then repeat tomorrow. Small consistent actions compound, exactly the way Elon went from selling a $500 game at age 12 to building companies worth hundreds of billions. Lesson 2. First principles thinking. Stop copying others. When you face any problem, learning a difficult English skill, choosing a career path, fixing a relationship, or starting a project, ask yourself, what are the fundamental truths here? What do I know for sure? Strip away opinions, trends, and what everyone else is doing. Rebuild your solution from the ground up. Do this exercise once a day for the next 30 days and you will be shocked at how much clearer your thinking becomes. Lesson 3. Embracing failure. Change your relationship with failure. The next time something goes wrong, a bad English test, a rejected job application, a project that fails, do not hide it or feel ashamed. Write down exactly what happened, what data it gave you, and what one change you will make next time. Treat failure as tuition you paid for education. Do this consistently and failure will stop being scary and start becoming your fastest teacher. Lesson 4. Insane work ethic. Match your effort to the importance of your goal. Pick your single most important goal for the next 90 days. For the next 4 weeks, commit to 60 to 80 focused hours per week on that goal, not busy work, deep, high-quality work. Use time blocking. Divide your day into 30-minute or even 15-minute blocks. Protect those blocks fiercely. You will accomplish more in 1 month than most people do in a year. Lesson 5. Vision for humanity. Think long-term. Every week, spend 30 minutes asking, what is the biggest problem I could help solve in the next 10 to 20 years? How does my daily work connect to something larger than myself? Write the answer. This single habit will give your life deeper meaning and direction. Lesson 6. Sustainable energy and Tesla. Combine profit with purpose. Whatever you do for money, your job, your business, your studies, ask, how can I make this also useful to society? How can I create value for others while creating value for myself? The companies and people who do both win in the long run. Lesson 7. AI and Neuralink. Prepare for the future of intelligence. Start learning about AI every week. Use it as a tool to improve your English. Ask Grok or ChatGPT to explain things in slow, clear English. At the same time, protect your own thinking. Read books, practice first principles, keep your mind sharp. The future belongs to people who can work with AI, not against it. Lesson 8. Leadership and team building. Build meritocracy in your own life. Surround yourself with people who are better than you in the areas you want to grow. Seek direct, honest feedback. Remove toxic or low-effort influences quickly. Demand the same high standards from yourself that you expect from others. Lesson 9. Key quotes. Use Elon's words as daily reminders. Pick one quote every week and write it on a sticky note or phone wallpaper. Read it every morning. Let it shape your decisions that week. Now we come to the final and most important section of this entire masterclass, the Complete Vocabulary Masterclass. Here is every key English word and phrase we have encountered across all 10 parts, collected, explained clearly with multiple examples and ready for you to master. Final Vocabulary Masterclass 1. Voracious reader. Someone who reads a huge amount with great hunger and enthusiasm. Example. Elon was a voracious reader as a child, finishing multiple books every week. 2. Self-taught, learning a skill without formal teachers or classes. Example. He became self-taught in programming at age 10. 3. Prodigy, a young person with exceptional talent far beyond their age example. Many people called young Elon a computer prodigy. 4. Resilience/resilient, the ability to recover quickly from difficulties example. He developed great resilience through bullying and family problems. 5. First principles thinking, breaking problems down to the most basic, undeniable truths example. Elon uses first principles thinking to solve impossible problems. 6. Reason from first principles, building conclusions step by step from fundamental facts example. Instead of copying others, reason from first principles. 7. Boil down, reduce something complex to its simplest, essential parts example. Let's boil this problem down to the fundamentals. 8. Analogy, thinking by comparison to similar existing things example. Most people think by analogy, but Elon thinks differently. 9. Commodity market, the global market for raw materials at basic prices example. Check the commodity market price of lithium for true battery costs. 10. Setback, a temporary problem or failure that delays progress example. Rocket explosions were major setbacks but provided critical data. 11. Embrace failure, accept failure positively and use it to improve example. Elon Musk embraces failure as fuel for innovation. 12. Iterate, repeat a process while making improvements each time example. SpaceX iterated quickly after every launch failure. 13. Near-death experience for a company, a situation where the company almost died example. Both Tesla and SpaceX had near-death experiences in 2008. 14. Pivot, change direction quickly when the current path is not working example. Smart teams pivot based on real data from failures. 15. Work like hell, work with extreme intensity and long hours example. To achieve big goals, sometimes you have to work like hell. 16. The grind, continuous, hard, often exhausting work over long periods example. Stay on the grind when the mission matters. 17. All-nighter, working through the entire night without sleep example. He pulled multiple all-nighters during production crises. 18. Time blocking, scheduling every part of the day in small time slots example. Elon uses time blocking in 5-minute increments. 19. Mission over comfort, putting the purpose above personal ease example. During critical periods it is mission over comfort. 20. Multiplanetary species, humans living permanently on more than one planet example. We need to become a multiplanetary species. 21. Existential risk, a threat that could end human civilization example. Asteroid impacts and uncontrolled AI are existential risks. 22. Self-sustaining, able to continue without outside help example. The goal is a self-sustaining city on Mars. 23. Transition, the process of changing from one state to another example. Accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. 24. Decarbonize, remove carbon emissions from a system example. Tesla helps decarbonize transportation. 25. Artificial General Intelligence, AGI. AI smarter than humans in all areas example. Prepare for the arrival of AGI. 26. Merge with AI, combine human intelligence directly with artificial intelligence example. Neuralink aims to merge humans with AI. 27. Meritocracy, a system where the best ideas and talent win regardless of status example. SpaceX and Tesla run on strict meritocracy. 28. Hardcore commitment, total dedication without excuses example. The teams show hardcore commitment to the mission. Final exercises: repeat each of these 20 powerful sentences out loud, slowly and clearly, 3 times each. Focus on pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. 1. First principles thinking helps me solve difficult problems. 2. I will embrace failure as a teacher, not an enemy. 3. I commit to working like hell on my most important goals. 4. Resilience is a skill I am building every single day. 5. I will boil every problem down to its fundamental truths. 6. Becoming multiplanetary is one of humanity's greatest needs. 7. I choose mission over comfort when the goal is big enough. 8. Time blocking helps me use every minute with maximum focus. 9. I will stay useful to society in everything I do. 10. Artificial intelligence is a tool I will learn to use wisely. 11. I demand meritocracy in my own life and work. 12. Hardcore commitment is required for extraordinary results. 13. I iterate quickly after every mistake I make. 14. Voracious reading will expand my mind and opportunities. 15. I am becoming more self-taught and independent every day. 16. Existential risks require long-term thinking and action. 17. I will decarbonize my own habits and choices where possible. 18. My imagination is the only real limit to what I can achieve. 19. I will think ahead of the curve in my career and life. 20. The ultimate goal is to stay useful to humanity. Write your answers and your biggest takeaway in the comments below. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this long masterclass, please do these 3 things right now. 1. Like the video. It helps the algorithm show it to more English learners. 2. Subscribe to Fluent Minds and turn on the bell so you never miss the next Legendary Minds episode. 3. Tell me in the comments, which legendary mind do you want next? Steve Jobs, Napoleon, Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, or someone else? Thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this time with me. You have now completed one of the longest and deepest English Plus Mindset Masterclasses on YouTube. Keep learning, keep failing forward, keep thinking from first principles, and keep working like hell on what matters. See you in the next Legendary Minds episode.